Sometimes, unfortunately, being a rugby league fan isn't easy. It's grand final week, and we should be talking about the decider. Instead, we're all talking about yet another player atrocity. For those that missed it, Reece Walsh, you've let the wider NRL community down. But more importantly, you've let me down. Those that haven't seen the video, don't see it. It's embarrassing. I can't believe it. I'm getting angry thinking about it. Reece Walsh doesn't know Sweet Caroline.
Ba, ba, ba.
Kids these days. Hey guys, and welcome back to Rugby League Outlaws. It's grand final week, and we have an all-Sydney affair. It's the Penrith Panthers and the South Sydney Rabbitohs battle for supremacy. Most importantly, though, I'd like to give a minute's silence to the Melbourne Storm's season ending. Well, that's long enough. I hate to say I told you so. Nah, I don't. I love it. Tommy Turbo is a flat track bully. You doubted Ryan Gerther, which I could, understand. But you doubted me. I told you. James Tedesco is still the premier fullback in the game. If I'm playing the Sharks this weekend and I need tries, Turbo every day of the week. But if I'm in a game that matters, Tedesco is still head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to the number one fullback.
Dan, one player who showed that he can stand up in the big games this year is Cody Walker. Now, he was outstanding in the first week against the Penrith Panthers, and he was absolutely outstanding against Manly. I personally fear that Manly were going to get a roll on in this game and just run away with it. I know they had a couple of tries denied and they never, sort of felt out of the game despite it being 12-0. Cody Walker just took over. He was the best player on the field by far. He was the best player of the prelims by far. And I think if he can keep this form going into the week, keep the form that he's got now and take it into the grand final, it's going to be a big challenge for Penrith getting over the top of him. We've seen when people hit these white hot form patches that they can just absolutely nail it and carry their team. And I think this is Cody Walker. He should be awarded the Dally M medal tonight for the best player of the season. And he will go very close to not only being the best player on the grand final, winning the Rabbitohs the competition, but getting that Clive Churchill medal as well. He's in a rare patch of finals form at the moment. It's unbelievable and great to watch.
It's also worth pointing out that DCE, the Michael Jordan of rugby league, was the worst player on the field on Friday night. I think that's pretty humorous.
Yeah, then just want to talk about the Nathan Cleary tackle. Look, yes, it was a penalty on the day. Yes, he went on report. It wasn't the best tackle. It wasn't the worst tackle. I think, someone like Nathan Cleary, who hasn't been suspended for those before, he should have got off. And he did. I'm glad he did. I'm glad he's not going to miss a grand final for an innocuous tackle like that. I think had it been like round 6, then he might have missed a week. But yeah, just to come out with a fine for that. Look, lots of people are saying, it's a tackle that should cost him a grand final. It shouldn't. A tackle like that, there's no way that should cost him a grand final. We need to review that process for grand finals as well. Unless it's like really, really game-changing and dangerous, then they should just be slugged with big fines so you don't miss out on a game like that. One person who did take offence to the Nathan Cleary tackle was Isaac Luke, who tweeted some comments about don't compare the tackles. Exactly, we're not going to compare the tackles, Isaac. Yours was disgusting. Nathan's wasn't that bad. Let's just leave it there.
Grand final week, and the games have already begun. If it's okay with Jane Caro, I'm going to enjoy this week, including said games. Penrith have come out and said that James Fisher-Harris, Tavita Pangai Jr., Moses Leota, and Mitch Kenny are all struggling to be fit for the grand final. And I don't believe any of that for 1 second. All 4 players will run out, even if they're on one leg. This game means literally everything to Penrith, especially off their loss last year. Get ready for all the games. Someone's going to get sick at the end of the week, mark my words. One of the coaches, probably Bennett's going to come out and say something about the referees. It's going to drag attention away. Strap in, because it's going to be a fun week.
What's annoying Terry?
What's annoying Terry this week? Had to shave my head because Melbourne lost to Penrith.
The Melbourne Storm's loss is a Cronulla Sharks gain. Nico Hines is officially a Sharks player come November 1st, and I could not be more excited. Just want to point out for those Melbourne fans watching, just quietly, Your season fell apart. The literal second Ryan Pappenhausen became your number one fullback again. Nico Hines was the former player of the competition. Don't give me the Turbo Cleary rubbish. It was Nico Hines. He was leading every important stat. He was the former player of the competition. They put him on the bench. Ryan Pappenhausen and his terrible haircut came back in, and they were never the same again. That's not to say I wouldn't have done the exact same, but in hindsight, it was all about Nico Hines. They looked their best on the weekend when he came on and was playing first or second receiver, and I think he's put any doubts whatsoever of him being able to defend in the front line and ball play to absolute rest. This is the signing.
Yeah, look, another player who's drawing high praise from Craig Bellamy, and he really didn't want to let him go, but that's Dale Finucane. I really can't wait for him to turn up, just his leadership. Look, he was incredible against the Panthers on the weekend. He made the most meters for any forward for the Storm. He made all his tackles. He's just, that leadership that he brings out onto the field, off the field. We're going to get that whole Melbourne experience. You're going to get a Melbourne rookie and a Melbourne leader. That brought in with Cam McInnes. We've got a lot to look forward to for the Sharks, but when Craig Bellamy turns around and says he will never get another player like Dale Finucane, the impact that Dale Finucane has brought to the club will never be replaced by anyone. That's the type of player that you're getting with Dale, and people are going to laugh and say, "Oh, we gave him 4 years." That's what it took. The fourth year, don't worry about it. Throw it out the window. It's a low salary. He may not even play it. But geez, when Craig Bellamy's saying this is a loss, we're not going to be able to recover from this loss for a little while, we know we've got ourselves a good player. I'm really looking forward to Dale Finucane coming in, bringing in his defensive strategies with Craig Fitzgibbon as well. We got ourselves a good one. We got ourselves arguably the best forward on the market.
So I want to give a shout out to our third big name signing, who seems to be almost forgotten in Cam McInnes. Look, earlier this year he suffered an ACL injury, a little bit of out of sight, out of mind. I think that this time next year we'll be looking back on Cam McInnes as the signing of signings. I've been watching a few games this year, good and bad, and in every single game, one thing has stood out to me. Our ruck defence was diabolical. Awful, disgusting, whatever word you can think of. It's not bad enough to describe how bad we were up the middle. Cam McInnes literally forgets how to miss tackles. I hope we don't shark him up, because he's everything we need in terms of playing ability, defensive ability, and leadership. We've signed 3 players, 3 10 out of 10 signatures for mine. Don't make me point to the sign again.
Yeah, look, going down memory lane for the Cronulla Sharks grand final. Look, after we beat the Cowboys on the Friday night at the SFS, and when the CWSC were organising tickets, I nearly didn't buy one. I didn't want the stress of going out there and what if we lose and being upset, but then it was also what if I missed the game, and so eventually picked myself up, got a ticket, got my mate a ticket as well. 10 o'clock we were at the Leagues Club drinking beers. Did the pub crawl down to Northies, had a great time with everyone out there. Got to Olympic Park at around about 5 o'clock, went into another pub just to see a black, white and blue. Got into grand final day, mate. When the game kicked off, I was a ball of nerves. Yeah, look, I think I went through, the 4 seasons of emotions. I thought we were going to win. When Will Chambers scored, it was the acceptance that we were going to lose. Then denial, and then Andrew Fafita scored, and the emotion is just tipping over. But the highlight for me from that day was not just the win for the Sharks and breaking that deadlock, but I got to share it with some really cool people. One of the guys who came down from from Brisbane, Phil. Look, he's been a Sharks fan since 1967. Grew up in Endeavour, and just to see him, in a ball of tears and a mess at full time. And just to have a look, everyone, young and old, just crying their eyes out. We finally did it. You can't take those memories away from us. It was absolutely unbelievable. I'd do anything to get back there, and I think we will under Craig Fitzgibbon.
As for my grand final memory, greatest night of my life. And I've had 2 children. They understand. I remember the day of all days. I remember the last minute seeming like it took 15. I remember crying for 20 minutes after the game, and I can't wait to do it all again next season.
Yeah, look, Dan and I, we're going to do our own grand final preview. I don't know who Dan's picking. He doesn't know who I'm picking. It's unfortunate for me to say this, but I am going to pick the Penrith Panthers. I don't like the Panthers. I hate their team. I hate their coach. I hate their players' crappy, cringy nicknames. I hate their TikTok dancing as well. The one thing that you can't hate, though, is they're undeniably fantastic footballers. And I think they'll learn their lessons from week one. They grinded out a game against the Eels, and everyone thought that it was going to be too much for them to come up against the Storm. Well, guess what? They did the same thing again. And if they put this game plan from week 2 and 3 into the grand final, I think it will be too much for Souths. Look, Souths are attacking brilliantly and openly at the moment, but the majority of South's game plan comes off the opposition making a lot of mistakes, and Penrith don't make them. I'm going to pick this to be a really, really close grand final. It's not going to be like last year where it's, game over and then a team's just going to chase and make it look like a respective scoreline. This is going to be a thrilling game, a nice close game, 1-12. Nathan Cleary for your Clive Churchill medal. I'm going to pick Brian Toto and Alex Johnson as both anytime try scorers as well for this. It's going to be a cracking game. Everyone enjoy the festivities, enjoy the lead up to it. Enjoy the Dally M's tonight because we are going to crown the best player of the competition. Enjoy all the grand final parades that, we're going to watch. Unfortunately, we can't get to. People in New South Wales, just get behind it right now. This is going to be an absolutely cracking grand final. I cannot wait for it. I'm going for the Rabbits, but I'm picking the Panthers 1-12.
Thanks, Terry. But here's what's really going to happen. For the record, Terence and I haven't spoken about our grand final predictions, so if there's a little bit of overlap, because we're both very intelligent, I apologise. For me, it's all about South Sydney. Not saying I want that to happen, that's just how I see it going. Yes, last week we were 0 from 2, but that means we're due. So, South Sydney for me, this will be a heaps closer game than last year. Let's not forget that Melbourne were well ahead with a little bit to go. There was a sin bin, and then Penrith scored a couple of garbage time tries. But probably outside the first 20 minutes, they weren't in the game legitimately. I think it'll be much, much different this time round. I think South will go out to an early lead. Penrith will fight back. Could come down to a field goal, honestly. Wayne Bennett is a super coach. He's had a go at Brisbane. It's all about the grand final now. They've been building all season to this. They've had the week off, which I still think will be very important. Penrith have played well, but not real well. On one hand, they do have that extra step to go, but I just think South Sydney are in a different class. They put Manly, a very good Manly side, away last weekend. South Sydney 1-12 for me. I think this comes down to an Adam Reynolds field goal. I'm talking 78th minute, 19-18. Reynolds slots it and wins man of the match. In fact, I'm certain that Adam Reynolds is going to be man of the match. Maybe it'll be Cody Walker. South by 1 point. Cody Walker.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws brought to you by Punktured Media. Look, we're closer than ever to being able to enjoy some freedom. Me getting back in the studio with Dan recording. So until then, please like and subscribe on all the social channels where you can. Drop us some comments. We really appreciate it. Please bag my hair this week. It's a home done job. Melbourne, you let me down. But Dan, as always,
grand final, baby. Last game of rugby league this year. Although, American Outlaws coming soon.